everybody! Today the 2020 Stockholm Diamond League meeting was supposed to take place here in my home country. And of course, it would have been so great if you could have watched me in action tonight. But, like most of you, I'm staying home to help fight the coronavirus. So there might not be any live athletics this evening from Stockholm. But instead, we put together some highlights of the best moments of the Stockholm Diamond League just for you. So, sit back, relax, and let us bring you to Stockholm for the virtual Wanda Diamond League meeting. Enjoy! Hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Sophie, and yes, welcome to the Wanda Diamond League call room. This week is a Stockholm special. Because we can't be in the Swedish capital for the Bauhaus Gala, instead we put together this very special package of highlights, going back through some of the best moments from Stockholm since 2016. As well as those highlights, we've got chats with Mondo Duplantis, the pole vault world record holder, and Karsten Warholm, who last year won his first Diamond League title over the 400 metre hurdles. Let's start the show with some of the best moments from the Stockholm Diamond League, those moments that really made your jaw drop. There are plenty of them.
Well, away they go, keeps very low. De Grasse leading at the moment, marginally. Good running too from Perez in lane 2, but De Grasse is dragging Maite with him, although he eases away over the second half to win it by 1.5 or 2 metres. And look at the time, 9.70. The wind plus 4.8, a monstrous gale behind them.
It does, it actually really picked up just as they went into the set position. You felt this strong gust of wind. And, he finished strongly. Maite held him pretty much to 80 metres. And then he carried on strong to the finish. He'll be happy with that, though. He's in decent form. He doesn't need to be flying just yet. Winning races is important. He won the other night. He's won again here. And he probably knew himself he had a strong wind on his back, so he wouldn't have got too excited when he crossed the line.
This is Jaime Perez of Cuba. First round throw power. They've got the wind blowing right in their faces here, these discus throws. They do like, if they're right-handed throwers, a slight wind coming at them, but slightly from their right, and will she be able to take advantage of this? Fourth in the World Championships 2 years ago in Beijing, and that's a fabulous opener from the 26-year-old. Goodness me, 67.92. That does throw the gauntlet down.
So, Seb Roger of Britain in 1, Anderson of Sweden 2, Han of France in 3, Maggi of Estonia in 4, then Samba, the world number 1 at the moment, in the Diamond League at least, goes in 5. Coppello, the World Championship silver medalist, 6. Warholm, the world champion, in 7 for Norway. Jack Green in lane 8 on the outside.
Well, absolutely brilliant conditions. Quite a strong wind has picked up over the last hour or so. I don't know if they'll be running into it down the back straight. Look at the left of picture there in the white top. That is Warholm, who has blasted off. He's a former decathlete, absolutely gives 100%. Apparently he still trains like a decathlete, some 6 or 8 hours a day, and he's determined here, running scared perhaps with Coppello and Samba in the 2 lanes inside him to go out hard. But Samba there in lane 5 has blasted off very quickly too. These two well ahead of the rest of the field. Samba leading at the moment as they come to the straight, the stagger unwinds, but has Warholm, the world champion, saved enough here? This is almost a carbon copy of the race in Oslo 3 days ago. Samba clears that one the best, and Warholm's going to be a close second again, or is he? It's going to be very tight, but Samba takes it from Qatar. Warholm second, and in third place there was Coppello, 47.41, a meeting record, and that of course here in Stockholm means a diamond, a sizable diamond, is given to any athlete who breaks a meeting record, and Samba has just earned one.
What a race for the two of them. And you just wonder, as they both get better and get more au fait with the event, they're still relative novices, both of them at 400 metre hurdles. I was watching Samba's stride pattern. Benjamin watched that, he ran 13s all the way. Well, Samba does change down on the 8th hurdle, and then comes on very strongly indeed, and rewarded with, as you said, a meeting record, 47.41.
8.39 in the 5th round.
Well, by contrast, this teenager from Cuba, Juan Miguel Echevarria, showing Manyonga how it's done at the moment. They're developing this great rivalry. What a talent this lad is as well. And good form's going to win this. Oh my word now! Now, has he got a white flag there? I was going to say he's going to win this competition. He can relax in the last round. And what has he produced here? The hugs and the cheers. He's watching the scoreboard. Now we have to check the wind as well. Is he on the board? That looked right on the board. Unlike Manyonga, he's been judging this perfectly. The wind has been moving around. It's 883, but it's windy. Oh my word, and by 2.1. What a shame. That would have been one of the greatest jumps of all time. A shame that it wasn't a legal jump, but nonetheless, Echevarri at age 19, Manyonga giving him huge congratulations, which he deserves. And these two are going to be great to watch over the next 2-3 years, or even further. 9 meters, anyone?
Some wonderful moments there from Stockholm, and what a stadium, I think you'll agree. Next up, we've got a chat with Mondo Duplantis. He's one of the biggest stars in athletics at the moment, but until a couple of years ago, he was still making his name on the international scene. Still only 20, we take him back to his first Diamond League win, which for the Swede came on home turf in Stockholm. He relives some of those memories.
Was it weird because you were kind of jumping over what your PB was the previous year, but all of a sudden you weren't coming first, you were coming fourth?
Yeah, no, it was a little different, I guess, because I was getting more used to competing against people that I was a lot better than, and then I have to step up on a stage where the people are, they're just better than me. And, I was, at the time, I felt I was, I always feel like I'm pretty experienced, but compared to them and the people on the, on the biggest stage where I feel like I was a little less experienced than them, and I feel like I was just honestly just a little less as good. But I started getting the hang of the things and getting into the groove of things and starting to get more comfortable competing against them throughout that year, and especially the next year. 2018, I felt like, I wanted to make a statement and try to show that not only I can compete, but I can win the biggest meets of them all. And I remember 2018 Prefontaine, I was pretty close to winning. I really wanted to win that meet bad, but Sam edged me out like he usually did. But 2018 was a big year for me for sure.
But then it was Stockholm a couple of weeks later after Prefontaine, and you finally got one over on Sam. Were you nervous to compete there because it was your first time at the Bauhausgalan?
Yeah, it was tons of reasons really, because Stockholm Stadium, it's such a historic and beautiful stadium, and Bauhausgalan, it's such an amazing event, and to go there, feeling at the time I felt really good jumping, and I felt like I had a chance to finally beat Sam for the first time, and try to get my first Diamond League win, and it was just such a perfect place to get that first win, because the atmosphere was rocking, and it was just such a beautiful day in Stockholm, and that was just an amazing day, because I was just jumping really good, got in a good rhythm, and it was just such a perfect place to do it, such a perfect time, and it's one of those moments that right afterwards I was thinking that this is one of those things that I'll definitely remember throughout my entire career.
Did it surprise you at all, like the reaction that you got in Sweden? Because I can remember before the meet, there was loads of media interest in you as well.
Yeah, no, it was crazy, and I think that's when I started kind of emerging, onto the bigger stage of things, and I kind of went from the younger guy that was kind of just competing with the older, the big boys, and then kind of went from that to a 18-year-old that really can go out there and battle with them. So I got a lot more attention that meet, and I think there was a lot of eyes on me, and there was a lot of people that wanted to see what I can do there in Stockholm and in Sweden especially. So to go out there and compete well and get my first Diamond League win, it was a special day. It was good. Yeah. Great time to do it.
Do you feel pressure in those moments? Because You know, obviously everyone's looking at you.
Yeah.
You're only an 18-year-old kid at the time, like, but you just seem to enjoy it. You seem to ride the pressure.
Yeah, for me, I think pressure's always made me a little better. I feel like, you know, the pressure and the adrenaline just made me a little faster, a little stronger, and I feel like that's always helped me jumping wise. And yeah, I mean, I think that as the years have gone on, just the expectations are going higher and higher of me, and especially, you know, that meet in 2018 in Stockholm, because it was kind of my first showcasing to the Swedish crowd on what I can do. And, you know, I wanted to go out there and show them that I was capable of some good things. So, yeah, there was pressure for sure. But I've always felt like I'm done pretty well handling with the pressure.
When you're in like that sort of competition and you are on the back foot, is there a sense that, oh, you can't mess up again? And does that add any like additional sort of stress? Yeah,
well, especially when you're competing against somebody like Sam, where the attempts are really important, especially when you're behind on misses. And yeah, I was behind on misses, and you know, I knew I had to make that 586 bar on that first attempt. So yeah, it starts getting a little more nerve-wracking, because, you know, once you start getting to those higher heights, and you know, you have somebody that's ahead of you, you have to be perfect, you have to be clean. So yeah, that's when the game really starts.
Where does the Stockholm win kind of fit if you look back on that year?
Without the Stockholm victory, I don't think I'd even jump 6 meters that summer, because, you know, that was a real turning point mentally for me, because I just mentally was so much more confident after that. You know, going into Stockholm and getting the victory against Sam, against everybody there. And yeah, I just felt really confident. I felt like I can really compete with anybody in the world at that time. So going into, you know, the European Championships later in the summer, it was giving me tons of more confidence. So it was a huge turning point for me, for sure.
How important is it for you? Because when you look at one of the best Diamond League athletes of all time, it's Renault, and obviously he's such a big star for you. And like, obviously the Diamond League fits into different people's plans in different ways, you know, depending on, you know, what their season goals are or career goals. But for you, what does it mean?
Us pole vaulters, we really love competing, and the Diamond League meets they're very well put together meets, and they're just always in fantastic places. So you know, we get to go to really cool places and, you know, jump against the best fans I think that there is in the world. But yeah, I mean, the Diamond League meets they're super cool, and, you know, to get a taste of it at such a young age, I think it made me really appreciate it, especially now. And you know, I just can't wait for it to, you know, get back to running again.
What a great sport Mondo is, and we'll have another section of chat with him later on in the show. Before that, and before we speak to Karsten Warholm on the line from Oslo, we're going to catch up with some more highlights from Stockholm. This time, some of the moments when athletes you may recognise got their first big Diamond League wins and their first 8 points in the bag.
Going well, Harrison already leading this, and Ali going quite well from the second lane. Couleur going brilliantly, and on the near side, Queen Harrison. But look at this from Harrison, going away, wins it. In second place was Ali of the United States. Pick up the rest into a headwind of 0.4, 12.67, and that was a very, very good opener by Susanna Couleur. But this young woman takes some beating, doesn't she? Kendra Harrison, 12.66. Nia Ali was second in 12.85. But look at that for the start. Couleur out of the blocks. She hasn't been anywhere. This is her first race. Harrison obviously away. Ali going well. Talley just being dropped at this stage. But Kendra Harrison is such a good technician. She really is. And Queen Harrison just sneaking through into third place.
Mondo Duplantis then. Cleared 581. His first attempt at 586.
Duplantis then, 5.86, first attempt. Crowd willing him over, and he gets it! A huge roar! Well, that's the best we've seen from this young man in Europe. He's done some huge vaults in the States. A recent World Junior record of 5.93. And this just shows the talent he has. 18 years of age. From a pole vaulting dynasty, his family, even his grandfather was a great pole vaulter. His mother was a Swedish heptathlete in the 80s. His dad cleared 5 meters 80s, way beyond what his dad cleared. 5.86. Sweden have got a new star. Mondo Duplantis.
Norwood in 1, Taplin in 2, Thaby 3, Cherry in 4, then Norman in 5, Benjamin in 6, what's them? Struther 7, Janazic 8. Well, Benjamin looks to have gone up pretty quickly there, third from left, gradually reeling in Struther. His compatriot, Mike Norman, nice and steady down the back straight there. Fourth from left, 2 men in headbands leading at the moment. Nobody else really featuring. Quite aggressive running too from Braylon Taplin in lane 2, but at the moment, Rai Benjamin keeping his compatriot at bay. Of course, Norman in 5. The left-hand headband, the right-hand one, as you see them now, has got the advantage, and now he begins to change gear, and Strew moves into the straight, and he is past his compatriot and great friend. The gap is not growing that quickly, though. It was many metres when they raced a month ago. This is a little bit tighter, but it's still a comfortable win there for Norman. 44.54 and a cool, breezy evening. The flags over at the far end of the stadium on the second bend are standing up stiffly horizontally. It really is very, very gusty. Hard to tell from here where they're running into the wind, but I suspect there's this pretty strong headwind up the back straight.
Incredible moments and some quite incredible athletes as well. Another incredible athlete and someone that we've enjoyed over the last couple of seasons on the Diamond League circuit is Karsten Warholm. He of course picked up his first Diamond League title in Zurich last year in that stunning race where he defeated Rai Benjamin in the second fastest clocking of all time. We catch up with Karsten, who joined us on the line from Oslo.
Your first competition there was in 2011. You did a long jump and a high jump. Can you remember that?
I actually remember because they had the Diamond League there at the night, and on the day the juniors or the kids or whatever, we got to compete under the same name as the Diamond League, and as a kid, I was really stoked about that. I found that really, really cool, and I remember being there and this big stadium and doing track and field as I love, So I remember being there at least 2 years actually at the time I did long jump and high jump, and I think also I ran some 300 meters there or something. I don't remember 100%, but I have some good memories from Stockholm Stadium.
And I mean, that's quite a sweet story, but that also kind of tells a little bit as to your athletics background, because you did used to do the decathlon, of course. Yeah,
I did, and my background as a decathlete is something that I will be forever grateful for, because it made me a stronger athlete. I think it made me love the sport, and also I can do every event. If someone challenged me, I'm ready.
Your first kind of 400 meter hurdles races went until 2016. So that win, then, if we take you to 2017 in Stockholm, that win in Stockholm was kind of your first big notable victory of your career, although it had come after Oslo.
It was something special because I won in Oslo, which was to me a big surprise, and also for the Norwegian crowds. So that was kind of like the start of a breakthrough for me, because it was my first Diamond League win in Oslo. And I remember we were transported by train from Oslo to Stockholm, and I brought some friends with me because Coach Leif was going to fly in the same day. And I was just very, very happy about winning the Oslo Diamond League. So I didn't care too much about Stockholm race. I was just happy to be in a Diamond League race again. So I didn't have very high expectations, but I got there, and as I always try to do, I was all in. So I won that race as well, and I got the taste of it. So it was really nice.
So did you even have a lane in Stockholm until you'd won in Oslo a couple of days before?
I don't think so, actually. No, I don't think so. And I also remember it being a lot of wind, because I ran 48.25 in Oslo, and I think I won at 48.80 or something in Stockholm in 2017. So it was tough conditions, but they were perfect for me as a Norwegian. And I think actually the win in Oslo got me a lane in Stockholm that year.
You know, your classic race intro where you slap your legs, you scream, you roar, you get the crowd involved.
But for me, it wasn't something that started at Bislett. Maybe that was the first time I got caught on camera doing it, but that is something I've been doing at practice for some years already then. And for me, it was like, you know, it was just a routine. And of course, I can understand that when the cameras are on me, that people noticed it. Also funny that Carl Lewis did it. He has a couple of funny videos himself, actually.
But then 2017, obviously, so you had these breakthrough wins. Oslo, huge win. Stockholm, backing it up, not quite as fast. But you continued to progress there, and the year ended so well. It wasn't just kind of a couple of wins and you're done. You won the world title by the end of it.
Actually, I did. That was crazy, because after Stockholm, I didn't do any more Diamond League races. I remember having a lane in the London Diamond League, and I didn't go. And going into the World Championships, I didn't have very high expectation. I just knew that I was on a high level, and I knew that there was going to be some guys that were extremely good as well. You know, Caron Clement, Yasmani Copello, Abdurrahman Samba. It was very good athletes on the line there. So when I won, you know, it was crazy. I was world champion, you know, and it sounds so good. And I still am today. That is also very cool.
You still are, but like even after that World Championships, didn't you set your PB like 2 weeks later in Zurich?
I did, actually, yes, because I think, to be honest, I think the London race in the final was the best race of the year. You know, it was raining a lot, and it was very tough conditions weather-wise. And I ran 48.35, and then I got to Zurich some weeks later, and I ran 48.22. But then I got beaten by Kyle McMaster.
Do you think he should be included in the conversation? I mean, obviously you, Samba, and Rai Benjamin.
Oh yes, absolutely. You know, one of my main philosophies is don't count anybody out, to be honest. And Kyron is one of the guys that has really proven himself. You know, I've lost to him a number of times, and he's really good. So yes, don't ever count that guy out, I think.
So if we go to Stockholm in 2018, it was a slightly different story by this stage, because everyone knew who you were after the world title win. Mm-hmm. But by this time, Samba had emerged as a real force. What was it like in those early races? Because time-wise, I think you improved a couple of times, including in Stockholm. But all of a sudden, Samba's running 47s for fun.
It was a very, very nice wake-up call for me. You know, Samba going out there, and he beat the crap out of me, you know, and also then Rai Benjamin running in college really fast, 47.02, I think. And for me, it was like, these guys are a lot better than me right now. So I didn't like it, but at the same time, I accepted that these guys were on a higher level than me at the time. But I kept on pushing through the whole season. I knew the European Championships was coming up and everything, and I got a lot of Norwegian records during that season as well. And I actually improved a lot. I improved more from 2017 to 2018 than I did from 2016 to 2017. So it's like, I felt like I did a good job, but there was some other guys that had done an even better job. And even also Kyle McMaster was better than me in the 2018 season. So I got a lot of beating. But you know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and all of that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think you'd run faster in Stockholm than you'd run in Rome, which was where everyone was really kind of like, oh my God, Samba's really running fast. Mm-hmm. You'd broken your own national record. Was it a sense of frustration in Stockholm where it was like, oh my God, I've gone faster again. What do I have to do?
You know, to be honest, I was really happy with the times I was running.
Right.
And I was also really happy for Samba to be running fast. But the only thing that was a little bit irritating for me was that, I got Norwegian records. I was really satisfied with what I was doing, and everybody was just questioning me about how I felt like losing, and I'm not in this sport only to win. I'm in this sport to improve. That's been the only thing that I've been focusing on, and I improved a lot in 2018. I was really satisfied with that, but of course I want to win. So that was probably the only thing that was a little bit frustrating. But at the same time, I think 2018 made me the athlete that I was in 2019. So, it wasn't good for nothing.
In terms of like a mark of improvement, then a really good measure is 2018 to 2019, the Stockholm meets. 2019, you're opening your season, and although you ran maybe like 300 slower, the weather was completely different that year to the previous year when you come second in that national record behind Samba. So do you think that is actually a really good gauge in terms of the times that you're hitting in the conditions that had changed so much?
In Stockholm 2019, the weather was brutal, really, really brutal. I was watching all the guys that were competing before me, and they were running quite slow, compared to their PBs, and I was thinking it's really, really cold. I can't imagine, coming straight in from Jamaica and then into Stockholm, 5 degrees and a lot of wind. That must really, really suck. But in Norway, I'm a little bit more used to it, and we found a nice place to warm up that was warmer. And I remember thinking like, this is what all the training has led down to. I prepared so well. So even though it's a huge risk for injuries in those type of weather conditions, I didn't care. I was just going out there and I had to show myself. And when I looked at the clock, I was thinking this can really be a good season because the time was almost a PB, and I felt like there was a lot of things to improve on the race as well. So it was a really, really good feeling, and it was the first time I won the Diamond League in 2 years. I won. Last time I won then was in Stockholm 2017. So it was really a relief for me, to be honest.
What about that celebration? Because you're saying that there was a few things to work on. It wasn't a personal best, but you still decided to get naked.
Oh yeah, that is a little bit embarrassing, since you're asking. But I was really going on a diet. I was really proud of my results. So I was just showing off, and hopefully I will never do that again. It's the adrenaline pumping, and then you do things that you seem to regret. I also remember seeing the video afterwards, the flower girl coming up to me with the flowers, and I was totally ignoring her. I didn't even see her. I was so caught up with myself. So it was like, oh, shameful. I will try to be a better celebrator in the future.
How pleasing is it to win the Diamond League? Besides the national records, the world title that you defended, of course, how pleasing was it to actually get your first Diamond League title? Because it kind of confirmed the incredible season that you had, in which that I think you won every race that you hurdled over, basically.
Yeah. Yes. My 2019 season was undefeated, and for me, going into the Diamond League final, I was really, really, really motivated to win because Kyle McMaster has beaten me the 2 times before, and now I felt like I was it was my turn. but you got to go out there and earn it. And I knew, especially Rai Benjamin in a great shape, and I knew that we are just as good. We are equals, and I knew it was going to be a very, very tight race. So I was just going out there, giving him my everything, and doing whatever I could to get my hands on that trophy. And this time it went well for me. So I was of course really happy by that. But at the same time, Rai Benjamin running 46.98, it's so crazy. It's like he didn't even deserve to come second. He deserved to win as well. 100%. It's like I wanted to share that trophy. He deserved half of that trophy because he was the one pushing me all the way in. And at the same time, he landed a time that was, you could win the Diamond League any other year before by a mile.
Top athlete and a top person, I think you'll agree, Karsten is. And we'll be talking further with Karsten later on in the show when he tells us about his plans for the Impossible Games in Oslo. We do, of course, have more chat coming up with Mondo Duplantis as well, so stay tuned for that. Before those though, let's crack on with the highlights. This time we're going to go back to Stockholm for the distance and field bests from recent years.
But the winner was the world indoor champion Tom Walsh of New Zealand. With 4 throws over 21 metres, he was the convincing winner. His best throw came in this second round at 21 metres and 13. And his poorest recorded throw was the one you saw on that caption. It was his first round throw, 20 metres and 93. Good technician, very, very consistent now, the turner. He really does wallop that 16-pound ball out there. And that 21-13, good enough to win.
Enjoys her jumping. 37 years old now is Ruth Beitia. 4th in the Olympic Games in London. Oh! Squeezes over that one. It's almost like she maintained contact with it most of the way over. Beautifully judged, the arc. And that second time clearance gives her the lead, 1.93 meters.
So, Dakers then. Great start to the competition. He might be finding these conditions to his liking. Is he just over balanced there? Let's hope not. Now, that is huge. That is a very, very long throw. Did he get the white flag? It looked as though he was just over balancing there. You cannot even, if one piece of your foot goes over the edge of that little rim of the curve there. We've had plenty of no throws given in the discus in the recent couple of weeks. But it's legal, and it's 69-67 for the Jamaican. That is a new national record. It's a meeting record, and he's got the world lead back.
It's a good field in this men's 1500 metres. They head off down the back straight. And as is his wont, so often, Kiprop in the orange was about the slowest away. He moves up round the outside now. Chariot from Wote, from Miku. Now has the Bahraini got the speed down the inside. He's going to be boxed in any case. These three easing away. Chariot continues to kick hard from the front, driving hard with the arms, in fact pulling away from Miku, the fastest man in the world this year. That's a big, big victory. And the time, 3:30.78. It's a world best for this year, 54.39 there, and so much of it down to Timothy Chariot, who blasted away from the group with about 270 metres to run. He snatched 2 or 3 metres, and they never really got back on terms with Chariot. Just 21 years old. He won the Kenyan National Championship 1500 metres last week in Nairobi. That, if nothing else, was adequate warning, surely, that there was something special in the legs of this man. And he produces a world-leading win, 3:30.77, Steve, with some big, big names behind him. Well, away they go now. Will they go with the pace? The wind actually looks as though it's dropped a little bit. The flags at that far end of the stadium that they're running towards are not blowing quite so hard in the wind as they head out through this first couple of 100 metres. Yarrigo due to take them out in 64 seconds, lay down a nice tempo. And of course, 64 seconds exactly per lap would bring them home in 4 minutes. They're hoping that the field will wind it up over the last 300-400 metres and bring it home in just under 4 minutes here today. But already gaps appearing, and I will be intrigued to see what pace Yarrigo goes through here in front of us at 300 metres. It should be 48 seconds, and it's way, way too fast. She's gone through in about 44 and a half. She's running 60-second pace. If they maintain this, they'll run 3:55 or something like that here today. The pacemaker goes through in 2:53. Laura Mia leads the chase, and it would appear Jenny Simpson at the moment has got some work to do. She's dropped back to 4th place from the main patch. She's in 6th at the moment as Segai leads through 1,200 metres. The time there, 3:09.82. Segai down the back straight, 10 metres to the good. Laura Muir chasing hard. She's got real strength, remember, the Scot. There's already been 2 Scottish records today. Didn't mention that Jake Whiteman set a 1,000-metre Scottish record in that 2.5 lap race earlier on today. But Segai leading into the final bend. She's got about 10 metres on Laura Muir. Muir closing all the time. The leg speed, the turnover from Muir is admirable. But is she going to run out of track here today as she comes around the bend and into the straight now? Segai's still leading. It's going to be quick. There's no doubt about that. that. Probably under 4 minutes. Segai, Muir, Jenny Simpson now kicks for home, which I don't think she's going to get back to the Scot. Rafi chasing Muir, chasing Simpson back in fourth place, but Segai towards the line now. Segai by 5 metres from Laura Muir. 3:57.64. Muir comes through a long way under 4 minutes as well, and I suspect Simpson and Arafi just outside 4 minutes. Yeah, Segai they're winning from Laura Muir and Arafi and Simpson third and fourth. I'll tell you what, Segai's run, considering how quickly she went out for the first 400 and then through 800 metres, was absolutely brilliant. It oozed character and strength. To hang on to run 3:57 with silly splits through the first half is quite fabulous. It was a meeting record and therefore a diamond for Segai of Ethiopia. Good up Segai, just 21 years old, champion this year of this meeting. Philip Ingebrigtsen is out there too, one of the two Ingebrigtsens in this one. In fact, Philip Ingebrigtsen is a non-starter, excuse me. It's Henrik Ingebrigtsen who is there as they get underway. And the pacemakers, well, it's due to be Timothy Sane of Kenya over the first 800 and around 153, and then Cornelius Tuwai will try and take it on. But they've gone off way too quick. Come on, boys, have a quick glance around. 15-metre lead after 150 isn't up to it, and there are no takers at all in the pack, are they? Goodness me. And you can see Cherry up there just leaning into the front in that strange style of his, alongside Elijah Manangoi, the big Kenyan pairing, with Suleiman on the inside there in third place. On the outside, Teferi of Ethiopia. Tefera, world indoor champion last year. It is Samuel Tefera who's got Chariot in his sights. Chariot coming up to 200 metres to run. Looks very calm, doesn't he? Is he expecting the attack from Tefera? Didn't look to be glancing up or trying to see any big screen just as well. There isn't one at that far end of the stadium. Very focused now beginning to ease away. Jakob Ingebrigtsen moving through strongly into fourth place, fifth place now, and he's eating them up and is really finishing like an absolute train there. Fourth place now, third place goes past Tefera. Suleiman in second place is going to be swallowed up shortly as well. Chariot well clear, he's not going to be caught. Neither is Suleiman, or is he at the line? It's going to be very tight indeed. No, I don't think so. 57.46, 3:35 there in what was rather anticlimactic, really. Poor pacemaking from the guys out in front, as Steve said, just outside 25 seconds for the first 200 metres, and that disrupts the tempo for the whole field over the first couple of laps. But Chariot 3:35.79, winning very comfortably by about a second and a half from Ayanle Suleiman. Bethwell Bergen coming through for third place, Tefera fourth. So away they go. Another interesting competitor here, Melissa Courtney of Great Britain, Olympic Commonwealth bronze medalist over 1500 early last year, but she won that road mile in London on Sunday, beating Laura Muir. And for Melissa Courtney, although she has raced 5,000s before, her best at 15:04. This is for her, Steve, a big step into the big time, I suppose. Melissa Courtney, to do well against these Kenyans, she's going to have to run a big personal best, a long way under 15 minutes, I would suggest.
Yeah, it's interesting. The 5,000 for a lot of athletes looks like an option, and certainly Melissa Courtney looks like she's got the ability to run a good 5,000 metres in great form.
Worku's there in blue, and Stafford there coming through brilliantly, the Canadian. She's had a really aggressive run there. Debut Stafford, World University Games champion 3 years back. She's got the speed, and they might have misjudged this one and played it into her hands. Stafford, she's a 4:03 1500 metre runner. Outdoor debut this for Stafford. She's a 14:57 runner indoors. That was last winter behind Laura Muir. Stafford hasn't got it though. It's Tirop who's coming through. Good finishing this from Tirop. They're gradually easing past Stafford, but Tirop's going to take the win there. Worku in second place, dips at the line. 14:50 the winning time, is a world-leading performance, and 61.8 there, the final lap. But a brave run this from debut Stafford of Canada, who had to settle for, I think, third place there. No, fourth, in fact, as Tirop goes past her. So does Worku in blue. And Rengaruk there, who also fell during the race, almost out-tipping her for that third spot.
Anybody else missing live athletics? I certainly am. Anyway, hopefully we can see a return of some track and field later in the year. Before we carry on with our highlights from Stockholm, we're going to catch up again with Mondo Duplantis.
How is lockdown?
It's all right. It's all right. You know, trying to make the most of the situation, but it's a little difficult. You know, the training's been a little tougher. Trying to go back to the roots, to the basics of, you know, how it all started in the backyard. But yeah, it's a little tougher.
Is it all just been in the garden?
It was until the past week. They just finally opened up a high school track a week ago. So been able to run there a little bit, but you know, weights and jumping and all that has been a little tougher. So been having to come to my parents' backyard and do all that stuff there. Yeah.
The garden challenge the other week. Did it take a few days for you to recover from that?
It was. I think it was more just physically. I felt all right. I didn't feel sore or anything that much after. I was just so out of breath because it was such a test of stamina. And it's really just cardio workout because, you know, I was trying to go so fast and, you know, by the end of it, I really just had no breath. 5 meters was easy enough to where I didn't have to stress my body to do crazy things, but I was definitely out of breath. Yeah.
What did that feel like in terms of a competition? How did it compare? Even your attitude going into it and maybe your attitude once it begun, did your competitive spirit come out?
I haven't had butterflies like that in a while competing because I didn't know what to expect. Usually when I go into a normal competition, I'm a little more comfortable and, you know, I know normal pole vaulting, but this was a completely new event and, you know, the setup and the way it was going to work with the 30 minutes and how many times we could jump. I really had no idea what I was capable of. So I was kind of nervous of what I could do, but yeah, it was super fun. I got to turn on that competition mode again. I had something to train for leading up to then. So, oh yeah, it was such a good time. I'm gonna compete at the Impossible Games, June 11th.
What do you think of the competition format itself that they've put on? It's pretty cool.
No, I think it's super cool, and it's great to have a little bit of competition back, and I think people really enjoy watching it. You know, having some live athletics back. But yeah, I'm excited to compete there, and you know, try to get in the best of shape as possible right now to try to, you know, jump something okay there.
Mondo Duplantis, a man with the world at his feet. Thanks very much to Mondo for joining us on the line. Coming up, we still have the second part of our interview with Karsten Warholm to show you, but before that, we're going to continue with some more highlights from Stockholm. This time, we're going to focus on the sprints and the hurdles.
Very quickly into a running and very quickly up on Ellen Elsner-Hurray there, third from left. My word, she's tearing around this bend at the moment. Going well too in lane 4 is Rebecca Haase, the German. Haase probably in second place, although good running from Crystal Emanuel, the Canadian, in lane 2. She ran a really strong bend. Now Haase coming back towards Hurray, who's been caught, being reeled in, and Emanuel on the inside is very, very tight indeed. Goodness me, hard to separate. 1.1 the wind behind them, 22.69 the time. Well, the flowers go to Hurray, but it was very, very close indeed. I wouldn't want to be responsible for saying it was definitely a Hurray. She does get it by 1/100th of a second, a season's best for the Ivory Coast athlete, Crystal Emanuel, from lane 2, and that is some handicap, running a superb straight to take second place, 22.69, a personal best no less, and Haase 22.76 in third, a personal best for her as well, not far behind. So clearly conditions out there actually pretty good for the 200-meter runners at least. Well, really good start there from Muriel Ahouray. Asher Smith half a metre down, as was the case in Oslo, but here she comes now. That 200-metre strength coming to good use, and she's going to get there by most part of a metre. And look at the time, 10.93. She's really in the zone, and she has reversed the results of Oslo, and many people felt that was on the cards. She'd battled away in Oslo. Yeah, Dean Asher-Smith winning 10.93, Mahuray's 11.03. And intrinsically, Steve, actually, that was a better run than in Oslo because she's running into a minus 0.1 wind there. I think in Oslo they had a 1.6 on their backs. So from Dina there, that is actually a quicker run than in Oslo. And certainly, she's beaten Ahouray by a good margin.
Clean start. Talia not the quickest out of the blocks alongside her. Manning got a cracking start. Manning leading this with Brianna McNeil at the minute. McNeil starting to come into this, and Danielle Williams going with her, but McNeil winning this. Talia trying to get back to them, but McNeil wins it. 12:38. Well, what is the wind? It's a legal wind. Plus 1.3. 12:38. A new meeting record.
It was a fabulous run. She got a great start, Steve, which put pressure on Talia to her left and over on the far side in lane 3. Good run from Manning, but I actually thought McNeil was in the lead for most of the race there. She wins it by half a metre from the dipping Danielle Williams.
Thompson gets away well, so does Dina Asher-Smith, and Skippers has got a pretty good start. Thompson getting left a little bit around that top bend. Dina Asher-Smith already well up on the Olympic champion. Now, can she maintain and even move away? Prandini having a good race as well. Skippers starting to come back a little bit. Thompson nowhere. It's Dina Asher-Smith going away from this field. Dina Asher-Smith destroys them. 22.19. A legal wind as well. Good bend. Great transition into the straight, still had work to do, and just got better and better as that went on a freezing cold night in Stockholm. A track she loves, a stadium she loves. Runs 22.18, makes the Olympic and world champions look pedestrian.
Boons in 1, Rolada in 2, Herman in 3, Nelvis in 4, Harrison in 5. Well, good start there from Kenny Harrison. Really good start too from Amuzan, third to left. But now Kenny Harrison getting into a running. Although Sharika Nelvis really making a work for this one. Now Kenny Harrison forces himself into the lead over the final 2 or 3 flights. Wins there by a metre or so. 12:52. That is pretty good. I mean, I know there's a 1.3 win behind them.
When you see the start here, always a decent start. Gets out well. Nelvis has started pretty well. By 2 hurdles in, Harrison is in the lead. But as I said, it's that last 3 hurdles. She just doesn't falter. She doesn't fade. Keeps it going, keeps that rhythm, keeps the speed, doesn't lose speed. Just a little clip there on the last hurdle, no more than that. And as you said, Tim, 12 makes 12:52 look pretty comfortable. But again, we'll reiterate, in these conditions, that is very good indeed. Men's 400 meter hurdles. Warholm driving out, that familiar style of his, already attacking down the back straight there and making up ground on the 19-year-old Bengstrom, and going flying past him. TJ Holmes, the American, may well be leading though through this first 200 meters, has gone off very, very quickly indeed. Thomas Barr a little further back, big gap to him in lane 5, but Warholm now really getting moving around that top bend, wrestling the lead back as TJ Holmes just takes a little bit of a stumble off that barrier. But it's going to be Karsten Warholm, the world champion, who'll have this all to himself. The others are way back. TJ Holmes going backwards. This field may well swallow him up. Seb Robchuk coming into 3rd spot. But look at Warholm. Now just between him and the clock, trying to get as quick as he can here. And that's not bad. 47.85. Thomas Barr comes through for 3rd behind TJ Holmes.
But that is superb from Warholm. Under 48 seconds is one of the performances of the night, to be perfectly honest, because it is cool. And as you pointed out quite rightly, the wind has not let up much. It's a really gusting wind here in the stadium. That must have affected him down the back straight. 47.85, winning by almost a second and a half.
Some more great memories from Stockholm there. I cannot wait to be back in that beautiful Olympic Stadium. Anyway, moving on with the show, we've got the second part of our interview with Karsten Warholm to give you. In it, he tells us about his plans for the Impossible Games, which will be taking place in Oslo as a replacement for the Bislett Games that have had to be cancelled because of, well, everything that's going on. Karsten tells a bit about how it came about and his plans for the race and his hopes for the rest of the season.
Let's talk about Oslo, because obviously, besides that win, in fact, in 2017, you broke the national record there last season as well, didn't you?
I broke the national record in Oslo both 2017 and 2019, yeah.
Do you not feel any pressure when you're competing at home or anything?
Of course I do. I feel a lot of pressure.
But does that make you perform better, do you think?
I think so. It's, Oslo has treated me very nice. I got second place in 2018, which is also great. So, we are not too spoiled with podium placements in Norway. So, Oslo has been really good to me, and it's the stadium that I train on many times a week. So it's like, for me to be competing in Bislett is something else. So yes, I love the pressure. I love how nervous I get, and I really, really enjoy running a Diamond League race at Bislett. The stadium deserves it. The people deserves it.
In which case, then, when the Impossible Games concept came around, you must have jumped at it.
I'm excited because we get a chance to compete, but as everybody else, hopefully, I would love the world to be normal again, and the virus to be gone and everything. But the way the world is now, I think this is a good solution, and I think it's a nice way to get the sport that I love back on, at least Norwegian TV screens and probably somewhere else in the world. And I love the concept, and I think it's really creative by the Bislett Federation to put it up.
Have you watched the pole vault contests that have taken place, the men's and the women's, the backyard?
Yes, I did. I didn't get to watch the whole women's because I was training at the time. But I think it was really, really awesome to watch, and I love that type of creativity. I love how these difficult times gets people to think different and to get the sport out. I love that. It's great.
Do you think having this world record attempt at the Impossible Games is that provided a bit of impetus to your season when it was needed?
Yes, I think so. It's like it's a good motivation to go back to training. It's nice to have something to look forward to, and the Impossible Games, give me just what I need to get to work and to have that little edge on the training again, knowing something big will happen in very near future.
So when you say that edge, you weren't struggling for motivation at all, I presume, but it must be hard with no focus.
I just want to become better, and for me, I know that training is what makes me better mostly, but at the same time, you get to train a little bit more high quality. You get to rest up a little bit. You get to feel, the good energy that you get while with resting and knowing that a competition will be there very soon. So that is giving the little extra edge that I like to my training, and it's very nice now with the summer coming to Norway, and we can start to train outside and everything. So.
Big thanks to Karsten there, who was on great form as ever from his home in Oslo. Big thanks as well to Mondo for joining us earlier on, and a big thanks to you for watching this episode of the Wanda Diamond League Call Room. Join us again next week when we'll be going through highlights from Rome. Hope to see you there.